Greetings everybody, welcome to my channel, Howling Alpha with your host, Alpha. Today is another class trial. Unexpectedly, we have two people that have died. And we're gonna go see if it's the same killer or two different killers. Could possibly do two different people, so... it's really strange how it had two people, and ironically, the two people that were fighting. So, without further ado, leave a like on this video, subscribe to join the wolf pack, always happy to have new wolves, and without further ado, detectives, let's go see who the killer is. This might be a long trial. Everyone had heard Monokuma's proclamation, and we're gathered into the red door. As soon as we all were there...
Monokuma appears!
There's double of them? He's multiplied.
Wrong.
No, not multiplication. Just looks like because of an illusion. I'm moving as fast. I'm moving so fast it only looks like I'm multiplied. Hee hee hee. Can you guys tell which one is a real Monokuma? I think they're both real. Can you just get on with the elevator already?
Boy, tough crowd.
You're not playing along.
Stop talking.
We're not here to play with you.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hey!
Even if everyone's here and ready to go, please board the pain train elevator. We'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
I swear, Monokuma only comes just to ignore us. Annoy us. There we go. I don't know why I said the wrong word. Okay then, shall we?
Please!
Hold on, I'm not mentally prepared yet.
What the heck?
I'll never be mentally prepared. You can't run away anymore, hero. You're gonna pay for your sins.
What the heck?
I told you already, I didn't do it, for serious. That reminds me, did you ever find that costume, or the note? No, but... how unfortunate. Then it seems we have our culprit. Hey, this isn't the place to talk about it. Save your accusations for the courtroom.
That's right.
She's right. Let's go down there first and then the story can begin. Yeah, good idea. That's right. I have to do it. I can't let whoever killed Hifumi and Taka get away with it. For everyone who is still alive. And for the two that have lost their lives. I can't believe there's two murders. That's wild. The one who killed Hifumi and Taka, the one who killed our friends. The killer is... someone right here. Let's go ahead. Let's get this done. The one that took the last breath. Oh, I took one last breath and exhaled slowly. I began to walk towards the elevator. Once everyone was aboard, the elevator goes down. Yes. The doors close in on their own. And the steel box began to move. Whew. Man, the elevator looks big compared to all the people who are not here anymore. The clunking of the elevator kept us company as we further down. There was no going back. Until we settled this, we couldn't go anywhere. I'm not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator door slid open, opening it into a crawl face. Oh, yeah, there's like literally no one here. When I see all you gathered like this, I realize just how few of you are left. Your school life is slowly reaching its climax. Just the worst. Only because of you. Why are you making us do such cruel things to each other?
What?
What? Do you really hate me that much? But I'm so cute.
Come on.
Stop goofing around, let's begin the trial. Don't rush me, of course I'm gonna start it. I would never be like, stay tuned for the action-packed class trial after the commercial break. I'd never hold out on you like that. Okay, let's begin. Get your assigned seats. No assigned seats. And so the curtain began open once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Yes. He has to say that every time, huh? Okay, yes. Class trial.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial.
You really gotta do this
so
every time?
if you can figure out
Who done it,
then
yes.
I'll punish everyone besides the blackened.
Of course.
Now then.
We already know who did it.
Oh.
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
You're the one that talked.
Who are you calling a murderer?
right?
I am sorry to say, Hero, but we do have evidence. Blueprint for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it. And all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know. I don't know.
Is he really the killer, or before anything else, we have to make that clear? Yeah, no, he is not the killer. He is not that smart. Yeah, Yashiro's message.
Everything we found in your room.
Oh!
The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you
Oh, but the
are
wrong
the
button.
culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff.
Come on, give me that.
It's not true. It's a conspiracy.
Oh, really?
Hero, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second.
Okay. Yeah, oh! I didn't even notice that.
Everything we found in your room.
Yes.
The blueprints,
handwriting.
the suit parts.
His handwriting's not the same. Because he has really good penmanship. I didn't even notice that.
Are
Wow.
we sure Hero really made those blueprints?
Right?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hero wrote. And the handwriting's obviously different. Wouldn't you say?
Agreed.
When you compare it to the blueprints.
Yeah.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
But why would he disguise it if it's going to be in his room? That's because no one's going to go be in his room.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on. I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
That is facts.
So
my
Makoto,
friend.
are you saying you don't think Hero's the culprit?
I don't.
And he's not the only one. I think Hero is innocent as well.
Correct.
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit?
Well, Hero was.
Is it like Hero said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
It could just be...
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit.
No one technically saw him. Or, no one really saw the Robo guy, except Celeste and Hifumi.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
Of course he passes
So?
on me.
Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
Especially the individual in question, the one... Oh, yeah.
I
Hero
got it!
was.
Other than Hero, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit. And we never found any kind of second suit.
Yeah.
Then there can be no doubt. Hero is the prime suspect.
He is
That
a
doesn't
suspect,
make
but
any
he's
sense!
not.
You just said Hero didn't do it!
He didn't.
It makes perfect sense. Hero was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
Correct.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What?
Thank you.
Now that's a bold assumption! And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course.
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Go for it, Byakuya.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around!
All things have a proper order.
Correct.
So what is it? What
Murder
needs to be
weapon.
clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body.
I thought it was a murder weapon.
It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items.
Yes, the tarp and the
Makoto,
dolly.
can you tell us what they were?
Of course.
I got it!
There's still one more thing. Yeah, the tarp. Blue tarp.
I got it! They were
Dolly
a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's he me for? What's the
So,
attitude?
let's see if I can explain.
I got it right, but he still me.
Taka's body
What's he
disappeared from the equipment room.
Yeah.
And then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, It was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body.
Correct.
That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing.
Yeah, it was in there.
I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there.
Yes.
But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
And the tarp.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. Am I right?
Correct.
But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room.
Yeah.
It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
I mean, technically it could, but I'm pretty sure I saw it in there before the body was moved.
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway.
Ouch,
We
Celeste,
have all
chill.
accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Dude, why are you after me right now? Wow, I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean, but maybe I can change your mind. I could just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to a repository. A new element? Alright, well... Moment of truth. Come on.
You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch. You miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool.
Finally!
I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
Gosh, that took forever. Alright, let's do this.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here.
Let's do it.
When I found the dolly in the repository,
There was blood
one
stain
of
on
the
the
wheels
wheel.
had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room.
Yes.
And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Thank you, Makoto. Jesus, Celeste really hate me that much?
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way.
Alright.
Let's get back to the main subject.
Alright.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
It's not a robot at all.
I'm not sure that really matters.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer.
Oh, really? Thank you.
If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
Yeah, because the dolly didn't have any, like, way to move it except if you bent down, like, push it. And you can't bend down in the robo suit. Alright, let's do it. Come on, free bullet. Yep. Alright, let's go.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Correct.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
You can't bend over.
No, that's wrong.
Correct. We're getting good, guys. We are definitely getting better.
You're
at class trials.
absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
No, and Hina should know
What do you
by
mean?
experience.
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
And bend over. Yep.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist.
Yes.
Am I right about that?
You are correct,
Now
Makoto.
that you mention it,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's kind of an airhead, though.
It seems
I
like
wouldn't
it'd be
bring it
awfully
past her,
hard
she
to push
forgot.
that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Exactly.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
Dude. He probably couldn't even
When you
use it.
can't even see your feet?
Yeah,
You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
for sure.
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
He couldn't take it off because he couldn't unclip the back. You can't take it off by yourself.
I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember,
There was a clip. All these flashbacks, like I like it, but I don't need it. Was just
That's
it's too
true.
soon.
It
I
seems
already remember.
impossible to put the suit on.
Then
Oh, sorry. I
you
really pushed the
really
button.
can't take it off by yourself?
You were there.
Hero wasn't just making it up?
Yes.
Of course I wasn't making it up.
if he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it.
That's a fact.
Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
Yes.
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
Correct.
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took?
Yes, that has nothing to do with moving the body, though.
You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that?
I mean, he couldn't have been in the suit. I mean, the robot could have just been hollow. So, or he could be in the suit and he was still unconscious because he doesn't remember being in the suit. So, maybe he's, I don't know.
Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said? So long as those facts, the individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same, it was Hero, without a doubt.
No,
Yeah. Yeah, that's gotta be right.
just, this is the reason why you haven't investigated.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
It's
just
still
ignore
far
him.
too early to reach that conclusion.
True.
Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Yes.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
Yeah, true. I'm actually kind of curious now.
All right then. Let's take another look back at what happened.
Alright,
I
Sakura.
suppose we could start with this morning.
Got it.
4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up. So that was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Excuse me, guys.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant.
But how can you have taken that picture and knew where he was going if you were unconscious?
I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume.
Why was Hifumi even in the room? That's my thing. Because if she went to go search, I mean, they could have been searching together, but that's kind of weird. If she was attacked, could she have taken a picture before, like, he was already in pursuit of Hifumi? But if he was already in pursuit of Hifumi, she could have taken the picture, but then he could have, like, ran away or screamed or something. Because he is not covering his mouth. And if he saw the robot attack Celeste, he would have, you know, could have said something, ran down the hall, did something. But he didn't. That's what's making me confused. So I'm thinking that why he was in the room and why he didn't, like, pursue to, like, run away. Unless he was an accomplice in whatever it is. And I think Celeste is my prime suspect. Alright, let's continue.
As it turns out, it was Robo Justice.
But I don't know anything about Taka. Taka's just
It
like
also
known-
soon became clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office,
No, he was gone.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Yeah, she was the only one that's seen Robo Justice go somewhere. No one else has seen the robot suit, though. That's why I think that Hiro didn't do it. Because no one really had eyewitness to where the heck the Robo Justice even was. Or didn't find him at all, either. Yes, yes. She found him.
and then,
Okay. Huh? That was nurse's office.
at that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office,
To check on him.
while
Yep.
Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement.
Correct.
I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time.
Yeah. The body discovery announcement was for Taka instead of Hifumi. Because Byakuya, Toko, and Sakura, that's 3 people. And this body discovery announcement only happens when 3 or more people discover a body. So us splitting up, it was almost like to confuse us about both of them dying when only one of them is actually dead.
Because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi.
Yes.
Then the three of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
Yeah, Fumi's gone.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
How did she know we were in the repository? Or the storage room, the physics lab? Interesting.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we
Yep.
hurried back again.
There can only be two
But
killings.
when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing.
Correct.
Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time,
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which
Correct.
is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated.
Yeah, which is another reason why Hero didn't do it, because he's
It
not
certainly
that.
seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation.
What do you mean?
And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them.
Is she saying that there's...
Now then,
There's 2
let's
killers.
get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
Alright. Let's do it. Contradiction hidden between Taka and uncover the truth in the cases. Alright, let's do it. So we're focusing on Taka first. Alright. Let's do it.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
I already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last
Yeah, no.
what makes you say that?
I think Fumi was last.
because of the numbering of the just.
No.
No, that's wrong!
There we go.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
Yes.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi?
Yes, because of his watch.
Okay then, let's see the proof.
Because his watch got shot at 6 a.m. Yeah. Alright. Broken watch, I believe. Oh, Hamming's Gamut? Okay. Wristwatch, right? Yep, wristwatch. Got it. S. Where's the S? Oh, jeez. Wrist. Oh. Watch. C. Oh my gosh. No. I need a H. H. Let's do it! Let's go!
Now I understand!
Alright. That I can spell. Oh my gosh, the
I've
first
got it.
one.
Taka's wristwatch.
Alright.
See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer.
Yeah, because it was working fine last night. Right before 10.
So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night,
It was 6
then
in the
he
morning.
must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
Yes.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right.
Which would mean the
Taka
Justice
was
Hammers
killed
had
before
nothing
any
to
of
do
the
with
other
murder.
incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
It's a good thing Kyoko came to the crime scene, because we would have never figured it out until she pointed
That's
it.
exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Correct.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
Yeah.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
Okay. Yes. Nurse office.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko.
Which Hiro didn't
Then
do it.
we
He was
all
stuck in
ran
the
down to the
locker.
nurse's office. And that's where we found his body. That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
I think that's like the slightest smart thing you've ever said in this whole game yet. But I doubt that's true in this case.
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway,
I mean, that's
we
a
all
good
have rock
assumption.
solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room.
The way she says these characters' names is amazing.
At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Okay.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
That's true.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Why would she move it though?
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body.
Yeah, that is true.
Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies.
It is true that you could have moved Taka's body, but Hifumi's body, yeah, no. Sorry, none. Except Sakura. Sakura is the only exception, but Sakura, I don't think would have tampered with anyone.
On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
No, they couldn't. You look how scrawny they are.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles.
Yeah, true.
So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how.
Yep.
In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
I think he just got up.
That's true.
I don't
We
think he
searched
actually died
everywhere,
the first time.
but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing.
Because he wasn't
And
dead.
according to what Celeste said,
He could have just been attacked, like the first time. Yeah.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it.
Yeah, which gave him just got up and walked out. Because I doubt it took 1 minute for any one of these characters to move him from his body.
But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
Tell him, Kyoko.
The dead body moved on its
Oh my
own?
gosh. Here comes Hiro saying it's a ghost.
No!
Called
Not
it, guys.
another
I called it.
Ghost!
Okay, ghosts aren't a physical being. So, if it was,
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult.
yeah.
I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality
alive.
he was still alive.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
Yep.
But I mean,
Exactly what I'm
we
saying.
found his body. He was dead.
But the discovery
Perhaps
announcement
he was
went off.
simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
The idea he was alive is very possible. Cleaning his glasses, maybe? Make your argument. Broken wristwatch.
You saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office?
There's a chance you... No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body that Hifumi is dead,
And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, let's redo that. I know exactly where I need to hit it.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
Yes.
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Yeah.
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement
For
along
Taka.
with the rest of us.
Not from Hifumi.
Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No.
No, that's wrong.
Let's do it. Let's do this, guys.
Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
But the other people
Maybe.
discovered Taka at the same
But that
time,
was
too.
also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right.
And the
It
announcement
wasn't
went
long
off.
after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
Correct. And Hifumi, when we met at the repository, the body announcement went off.
So there's a
again.
good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere.
Yes.
I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Correct.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
That's not the point, Hero. But the fact that he didn't give me a straight answer is all I needed to know.
No, actually, that was plenty.
Exactly.
He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again.
Correct.
If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly.
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
First time was played. Second time was when we found both bodies in the repository.
We heard it a second time in the repository.
Yep.
When we rediscovered the 2 bodies.
Need some caffeine.
It didn't seem weird at the time. But it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Correct?
Exactly.
You were
If
exactly
we were
right.
actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
And it was
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't
dead.
actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
Yes.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
He cleaned his glasses. What? What, Genocide Jill?
He was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
I mean, yeah, he was pretty good at playing.
That is the worst logic I have ever heard.
Oh
But
my
honestly,
gosh.
I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then.
Of course.
Let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
No, it's not. You're just not wanting for us to accept the truth. What? It's glasses, right? Because we made the cloth from the trash can. Yeah. Alright, let's do it.
Well, here's one thing we do know.
Yes.
The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
That's correct.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
Yes.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned...
Nope. That's not wrong.
Shoot!
Oh, that was my fault. I didn't read it.
Well, here's one thing we do know.
Let's
The first time we found him, and then his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the...
But when you compare his body before, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Yes, there is.
No, that's wrong.
There we go. Let's do it.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
Sure.
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood.
Yes.
But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
Yep, which Celeste didn't even want... Like, she asked about it, but we didn't tell her. So she didn't know exactly what we found. This. Bada bing, bada boom, go.
I got it!
There we go.
It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right?
Correct.
And
Oh, that
whose
could have been
digital
a
camera was it?
coincidence,
Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
She even had trouble saying it.
I
Insane.
highly
That's
doubt
exactly
anyone but
tongue twister.
Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
Yes.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
Byakuya and...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
Yeah. he wouldn't.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses
Oh, I
clean.
forgot she wore glasses too.
Then there's
Sorry,
no
Coco.
question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is...
He wasn't
What
dead.
exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office.
Okay.
He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see.
Correct.
Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet.
Alright.
And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
I believe that is
But
true.
then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
I don't think it was paint. I think he got it from the blood
The fridge in
infusion.
the nurse's office contains packs
Yeah.
of blood for
Thank you, Kyoko.
emergencies. He probably used one of those.
Exactly.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere!
Okay, Genocide Jill.
But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained.
Correct.
It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
Alright, who? Oh, wait. Hifumi.
I got it!
Hifumi moved it.
It could only have been Hifumi.
Yeah, because he was the only one that doesn't have an alibi that he was still alive. And he wasn't in the robo suit, so technically he could still been down and...
While we were all gathered in the nurse's
Yeah, it's
office,
all making sense
he went
now.
to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
Exactly. Dude, Hifumi is smart trying to dodge all these group of people, though.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
Yeah, he locked
The
it.
door was locked?
Yeah.
Well.
It was locked.
After the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right?
Yes.
So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
Yeah, and since they were the first
And
two
the
to go.
repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
Which had to been Hifumi.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
Yeah, because he had to properly, like, lay down Taka's body to make it look like it was spotless.
He convinced us all he was dead. And when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository.
Yeah.
So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
Exactly.
But that means he took part in the murders.
Which kind of doesn't make sense why he'd do it, though.
I just can't believe it.
Yeah, because he already knew from the beginning that he wouldn't
If you're
gain
having
anything from
trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
it. Yes, please, Kyoko.
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed.
Alright.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
Oh, yeah, the paper. Oh, was this? No. That's what he was holding.
I got it!
Yeah.
You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Yes.
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his
She just,
pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what
of
the note
course,
says.
all the girls will say that. I found a hole that maybe used to escape. Yes.
Ah, that's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go.
So, Hifumi gave Hiro a note and Taka. So, Hifumi, he might have killed Taka, because they were fighting. He might have lured Taka and killed him, and tried to blame Hiro for it. Because I remember in the beginning when he was going off about all this anime stuff, he did mention Robo Justice. Robo Justice Galacula something. I do remember vaguely he saying that. So he wouldn't have known about the robot suit. And he was some sort of like sculptor artist kind of guy. So he would have a pretty good explanation to how everything works and creating costumes and cosplay and stuff. Whoa. Hifumi might have been the murderer of Taka. But then who would have murdered Hifumi, though? I think I'm piecing things together.
Huh?
I could be totally wrong,
Wait,
but this is how I'm
one's
thinking.
a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
So, yeah, so actually, they lured him so they could knock him out, put him in the robo costume, put him in the locker, so he was passed out for the rest of the night. And then they went out with Taka.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
Correct.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been...
Taka.
I got it!
Of course.
That's right!
He's the only one
Taka.
that's dead.
The killer used this note to draw out Taka
Yeah.
and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection!
What, Jill?
I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right?
Yes.
So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy! Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
Oh, so you got that. You got that. You're that smart, but when it comes to, like, common sense things, no, not really. Okay. See, I have the opposite. I know common sense, but TikTok, I would have never known it was Taka.
Oh, yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Them two. I don't know. Man, Jennifer Jackson is scary, but still, I can't let her get to me. Alright, let's contradict her, I guess, or let her see why the reasoning is. Okay.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Hubby!
No. I doubt it.
But remember what the note said.
Yeah.
What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I
Yep.
believe.
Your broken
The
wish
time
list.
doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Oh my gosh! No, I missed. Dang it! Oh my gosh, I gotta do that
Hubby
again.
had the note, right?
Yes.
Then the person it was intended for must have been Hubby!
No, it's not for Huffy.
But remember what the
Oh
note
my
said.
gosh. Yes.
What time did it say to meet?
That's
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter!
Yes, it does, because the broken wristwatch.
The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Yes, it does. Genocide
No,
Jill.
what's wrong?
I'm gonna get you. All right.
No, there absolutely is a connection.
Yes, there is.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered.
Exactly.
We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Yes.
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Oh, it's a good thing that she just doesn't be so stubborn.
And someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
I mean,
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
because he's the one
Down
that
his pants,
originally
no
killed
less.
him.
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Because he didn't want the evidence.
He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead.
I will show you. It's right here, Byakuya. Byakuya. Oh my
got it.
gosh. I don't know why I'm saying his name
When
wrong
I
all
searched
the time.
Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper.
Yeah, he must have a
I'm
strong
right
grip
about
for a
this.
dead guy.
The sheet of paper
Just
this
saying.
piece came from is... I knew it!
Yeah,
It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
couldn't you just done that when you first
Then
saw it?
Taka's scrap.
Yup. They're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap.
Yes.
Did I get all that right?
You're right,
That
Sakura.
means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Because he did it. He's the one that wrote it.
Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact,
I don't think he was an accomplice, though. I mean, I think he actually murdered Taka and tried to frame Hiro. But then someone might have got rid of Hifumi after he got rid of Taka's body and put it in the repository.
he was behind the whole thing.
Yeah.
In fact, he's still alive.
He's not still alive, but I think he is the
Sorry.
murderer.
No.
Really?
When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was
okay.
truly and completely dead.
Yeah, that part is true.
The second body discovery announcement...
Yes, that proves that.
So then,
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
Okay.
He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the
Of course.
repository.
Yes.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
wait! But me and Sakura were together.
Oh, you okay?
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Oh,
Who are you calling a walrus?
exactly.
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
What? What, Weed Man?
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all.
Oh, yeah. There wasn't a Justice Hammer.
But
in
Justice
his room.
Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right?
Yeah.
So if Hifumi was killed in the repository,
Weed Man. Guys, we gotta give him a round of applause because he just said the most... Okay. The first actual question that stumped me from him.
the
Thank
culprit
you.
would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it.
Okay.
But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around
For
that skull of
real?
yours after all.
Dang.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
That's what happens when a good night's sleep does to you. Man, he must be knocked out so long that he refreshed his whole mind.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either.
Yeah.
The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments.
They were in the repository. There was that hammer that was
But
cleaned
if
off.
the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
There was a hammer that was cleaned off and...
So the
It was
question is, how could the
recently
culprit have
cleaned.
gotten their hands on either of the hammers?
Exactly.
Personally,
Okay.
I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
That doesn't matter.
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Yeah. But there was one.
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
No.
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
Yes.
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The clean one. The clean hammer that we found. Because it was wet, so it was recently cleaned off. Dude. Okay, spotless hammer. Let's do this.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Was that where I was supposed to
Well,
hit?
whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out.
What?
How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did
The hammer
nobody
was already
witness them
there.
carrying it?
Or was it the end
Sounds like a
Excuse
Justice
me.
Hammer 5 is about
No.
to make its appearance!
No.
Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Did she really just go
one thing
on a
seems
freaking
pretty clear.
website?
The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers.
No. It was not.
No, that's wrong.
Ooh! We're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill the
The murder
murderer.
weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No,
It was completely
it was
different.
something completely different.
But
Let's go.
seriously?
Yes.
Specifically, a hammer from the repository.
Let's go,
The killer could
Makoto.
have easily used that to kill Hifumi.
Ooh, I'm getting pumped now.
Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris.
Except for that
But for
one.
some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Exactly. Like there was blood on it.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder.
Yes.
If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones.
Yep.
I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
For real.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
Yes.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with.
I brought it. Sorry, guys.
And the one who betrayed him.
Alright.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him.
What do you think is strange, Celeste?
The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder.
Yes, but if someone killed the previous murderer, they aren't an accomplice. So the murderer who killed the previous murderer, that murderer will graduate. Yeah. I know what I'm saying.
The idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
Yes, true, but they weren't working with Hifumi. Or what their intent was, they weren't working with him. They were going to betray him. So maybe they were the accomplice, but the accomplice turned to the murderer. Alright, let's do it. Ooh. Ooh. Alright. Come on, we're getting to the end. We are about to see. Let's go.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder,
Yes.
only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is
Yes.
simply impossible that two people work together on this.
It's not impossible. Oh,
That is how the rule was explained to us.
Yes.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Yes. Oh man, I should have done that one.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us,
Even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is how the
But that only really applies if there's one murder.
was supposed to be
right?
this
In
one.
this case, however, there were two murders.
There we go. Alright. I'm supposed to hit Celeste's
based on
impossibility.
the rules that have been, even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate. Assuming the rule holds true.
Yes. Let's go.
No, that's wrong.
Oh, Celeste. I think you're the killer. It breaks my heart because you're like,
Since there were two
You're my number
murders,
one.
it's at least
Oh,
plausible that
gosh.
more than one person was involved.
yep.
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm sweating, guys. Oh, this is intense.
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering.
Yep.
Naturally,
Backstabber.
if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
Yep.
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you.
Correct.
However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
Yes.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
Yes.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka.
That's what I thought too.
They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders.
It was two separate murders.
Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look.
Correct, Makoto.
A suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies.
Correct.
By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
Yep.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan.
That's sneaky.
And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice.
Exactly.
Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
I guess they could few people.
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
I mean, he's got a motive to kill Taka because of the whole AI thing. The same beginning. Yep. Everything was almost too amazing. So it's like a natural hazard.
I understand how an accomplice could be
She's the
involved.
ultimate detective.
But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
But I think I know. Considering everything that's going on. The one pulling the strings, making us go everywhere, and the only one who had any idea of contact with Hifumi. Celeste.
Here's my answer.
We're about to kill my
It was
character.
Celeste.
We are about to
So
totally
I'm the
kill
suspicious
our
individual now, am I?
You're the only individual.
I really do hate this kind of joke.
Alright. She's about to do a personality change. I can almost feel it.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. Mm-hmm. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot!
Oh my gosh.
Pardonnez-moi.
No. There ain't no way.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Okay, come on.
Is
Tell
that
us.
so?
Yes.
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you.
Yeah, like I said.
Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
Exactly. The screaming, the hidden paper. Yeah, like I said, they were the only two that
The
encountered him.
behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious
Exactly.
individual in the suit. Thus, the only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand
That's what I
were
said in the very
Celeste
beginning.
and Hifumi.
Shush.
Ooh.
The adults are talking now.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, I hope my character punches him in the face. I swear.
Sorry.
No, don't say sorry. You're an adult.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual.
Okay.
If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
I can't stand you.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct?
Yes, but Celeste was the only one who was telling us which way to go.
And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
What? Yeah, she was telling us.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
What's wrong? Costume man, ran to the scream. Yep.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Ooh, she is cunning, man. Yep, she started screaming. As soon as he left.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
Yep, man. Her timing is impeccable,
In
though.
fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Yep. So she would confuse the body discovery announcement. My
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of
She didn't
that,
say anything?
that piercing cry of yours early on,
Yeah.
that was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it?
Oh, I didn't think of that.
It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan.
Oh, that I did not know at
Why
all.
else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
For real.
I just realized another strange thing.
What?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered.
Yeah.
You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
Ooh. Okay.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
I mean, yeah, she is a gambler.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom.
Which, That's why, excuse me, which is why Hifumi could have gotten up and left, because she basically removed her from the scene of the crime.
Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed.
Indeed.
Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
What was that? You must be really enjoying this, and we're on the side of standing up around fighting the accused. We're all gonna die here. We're gonna die just like those guys. How does she know Taka was killed unless I didn't even think of those words that she said? Those guys. The only 3 people from the body discovery announcement, because she was with us, was Sakura, Toko, and Byakuya. I don't know why I'm using her name today. Just ignore it, but... Oh my gosh.
I remember her saying that too, but
How?
I don't understand what's so strange about it.
She didn't know Taka?
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room.
Yes.
Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the 4 of us headed to the nurse's office.
Yeah, she
Now,
didn't know.
the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead.
Yup.
Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
Just get out of here, Hero.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Yep. Alright. What are we doing? Let's go. I'm going to file 3. Alright.
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here.
Nope, that's not what I meant.
We are going to die, just like those guys died.
Okay.
And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Sorry. Shoot! Mix those up. I meant to click
All
the
I
other thing.
said
Alright.
was, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die.
Yeah, that's
Just
the
like those
contradiction.
guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Alright, let's go. I know exactly what I need.
All I said, they must really enjoying.
The sight of us standing around, frightened. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die.
That
No, that's wrong.
Yep. Dude, you're about to die, Celeste. You better be praying.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Yep.
Exactly.
Ooh.
And we didn't run into her until after
go.
we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
Let's do it.
So how did you know, Celeste?
Yeah, how'd you know?
How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys?
Exactly.
Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right?
She could
So
have been
she
dead.
could have been dead too.
Oh, I didn't even think about that either.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Okay, well, just tell us. Tell us the truth.
Imaginations.
Yeah.
You claim that I was lying
Oh.
when I told you about the suspicious person I saw.
No, we didn't proclaim you were lying. We just...
Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the...
Well, you were passed out, so it really
It
didn't
has to
make
be
sense.
some kind of set. So let's put the suit on, and
No.
then
Only
use
you
the
could've
camera's
fit.
timer to set up the picture.
You were probably passed out in the Robo Justice suit, and then Hifumi, since he was an accomplice, he gave you the note, so he drugged you, passed you out, put you in the Robo costume, and then he was asleep, he couldn't move. So technically, he wasn't being... Hifumi was probably carrying him.
Have you so quickly forgotten? Plus, I happen to know
Oh
that this
my gosh,
particular
no.
camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that
wasn't
this
dragged
is
away.
a picture of Hifumi being dragged away.
Nope.
If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you
Exactly.
possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one
He
you've
was
offered up.
carrying him.
No, there is no other explanation.
Yes, there is. There wasn't a picture of something for dragging away. It's because the suspect has been drinking, and Fumi is dragging a suspect
I
away.
got it! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
Exactly.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit.
Yep.
We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around.
Celeste is a good
And
one,
the
though.
strange
My
costume
gosh.
might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened. You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this.
Yep, that's true. Oh, here she goes.
Such a thing
Such a thing.
is utterly impossible.
Of course it is for you.
Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Really.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
All right, go ahead. Do it. She could prove no way Hifumi was dragged away. Okay. Tell me, is it possible? Oh, another contradiction? Alright, let's make our argument. Let's do it. Ooh.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight.
No.
You tried to make me look like the bad
That
guy.
ain't it.
Like I said, ridiculous.
Come on.
As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious,
Yeah.
there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Yes, they can.
No, that's wrong.
Because they couldn't bend down. They have to stand up straight.
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
Yeah. They couldn't bend down. They couldn't bend at the waist. Got it.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Oh, that face.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing.
Yeah.
The
If it was
point of
bent
it all
over,
was to
then
make
he
us
wouldn't be able
believe
to
whoever
make it
was in the
look like.
suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Yep.
Checkmate?
Oh, she's about to lose it again. Okay.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Ain't that a pretty face?
Celeste? Clearly! You want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Tell me.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
What? Yeah, who attacked? Oh, she did say.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not?
Excuse me, guys. That was a. That voice was
He
weird.
said, and I quote, Yasuhiro.
Okay.
In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Okay, chill.
But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
What?
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
Exactly.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Jeez.
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
No, not for serious. Oh yeah, he was calling Mr. Naegi the whole
I
time.
got it!
He only uses
That's
our
right!
last name.
Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
You all had last names. How should know was the first name? Celeste didn't tell me her name. Celeste never said
Exactly.
her real name.
I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example.
Alright, Celeste. It's your last
So
name,
if Hifumi
Yashihiro.
did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
Exactly.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation?
Yep.
No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal.
What?
But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
It doesn't apply to anyone who said their actual name. Celeste's been hiding her name this whole freaking game. And now I'm gonna see exactly what her name is.
Well, no. Hold on.
Good.
There's one person it could
Yep.
apply to. And that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name
I
is.
finally get to see her real name, guys. Oh, I can't wait.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you?
I mean, that could be one of the motives why you changed your name, is you think it's a loser.
Well, do I? What?
You're a loser now.
I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in.
What
What's
is
your real name?
Fine. Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia
No, it's not.
Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
It's not your real name, girl. Just hand. Okay, make her accept it. All right. Show me your e-handbook. Yeah, show me. I would like to know.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
Yup.
How many
Do it.
times do I have to tell you? My name is...
Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
Jesus.
How long do you plan to go
calm
on
the frick
pretending?
down, woman.
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you
I got
have
a
no
Gina.
way to contradict me,
Yes, I do. Take
No,
it.
that's wrong.
Take that contradiction and eat it.
That's it. The handbook.
what?
Tell
Anytime
me.
you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right?
Yep.
Monokuma told us all about it before.
You're in trouble now. Yep. It displays his real name.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything.
Yep. And if she doesn't show us, It only proves us a point that it isn't a
That's
real
how
name.
we can find out Celeste's real name.
Yep.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
All right, that just proves that that is your last name, because everyone else is.
Celeste. Can you please just tell us what really happened?
Oh my gosh. Just
Please. Just tell us.
you lost.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up.
Okay, so she basically just admitted it.
Because
You're also a gambler, I get it.
Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Okay.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again. From the beginning.
Let's go.
And that'll bring everything to an end.
Yep. Comic book time. We got this. All right. Your thoughts? Okay. He came in, right? No. Oh, there we go. He came in. He's probably so tired. Then they stuffed him. Taking that picture. 6 o'clock. Checking his time. Bopped him on the head. Justice Hammer 4. Because they made him look like he was the last one. And then... he was hit by Justice Hammer 2, though. So, after he splashed around, he made it look like he was the third one to get hit. So they met the bodies. He got up, got Taka, and then... I wasn't part of the crime. Backpack. Maybe. Alright.
Here's exactly what happened.
Last one could have been anything. Alright, let's
Before
see.
anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder.
Yes.
And that person was... Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning.
Jeez.
That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit.
In a picture.
Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro.
Yes.
When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room.
Where Fumi hit him with a hammer. Correct.
And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder.
Yes.
The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes.
Yes. Which would make sense because no one saw Taka throughout this whole investigation.
So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims, to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1, and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library.
Yes.
This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2, and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story.
They're smart.
With
let me tell you
these
that
two
much.
incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did.
Yeah.
We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office.
Indeed we did.
This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for.
That's where he covered himself with fake blood.
He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in
Yep.
which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time.
Yep.
So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape.
Jeez.
When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office, and once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room.
Jeez.
He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository.
He must have been as faster than I think
That
he was.
explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act.
Yep. Freaking die. Just like that.
Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository.
I mean, that's the only weapon that's possibly...
That should
kill
cover
him.
everything that happened in this case.
Yep. So what you gotta say now, Celeste? What you gotta say? Can't say nothing. Tell me I'm wrong. Ooh, art
Celeste.
style.
Sorry, you lose.
Yep. What you gotta say now, punk?
I lost?
Yes, you did.
I lost?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time I was forced to utter such words?
I don't know, but
They
today
hang
is the day.
heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor.
You never really said that.
I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no.
What's that voice change all of a sudden?
Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Whoa, hon. How many voices does this chick have? Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Keiko?
That ain't a bad name. I thought it was gonna be something silly, but
So, you finally accepted it.
her voice though, it's like so like timid.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
My gosh.
Interesting.
Dude, I don't know if I like the way she talks now. That's a little weird. Compared to like this whole game. Oh, what do we get? Please tell me I got a B or an A. Let's go. Nice.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin.
No, I can't. No, that's not her name. That's not the way she talks. That is so weird. She does not.
Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
I can't wrap my head around her voice right now.
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote, okay?
All right.
Okay. If you would, please locate your lever, and when the votes are tallied, will you make the
Yes, We will make the right choice every time, Monokuma. Don't you worry about that. You got me. I can solve cases. Oh, I'm about to see my favorite person get executed. I don't know if I can watch this. Why did you have to kill someone? Oh, it's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The Black in this time is the true killer. Devised the whole stinking crime. Or scheme was Celeste Ludenberg. No, more precisely, Tanko Yashihiro.
Honestly,
I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone was my mistake after all. Yeah, that was true. And Fumi's impeccitude was beyond my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Fumi with this plan. How did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have happily committed murder. I'm sure she relied on her specialty, lying. A specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to him to get to agree.
So then...
Then, did you use, you know... I knew you'd figure it out, Kyoko. You're obviously right. I get Fumi to act as my accomplice.
indeed.
I used her. For everyone who's still left, I avoid mentioning by name, but it was the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into. Yes, that's why he killed him in the beginning when I said it. He used... that makes more sense. So she took it. She's the one that took freaking... the AI. Oh. Man, she's good. She's really good. Does she mean... Yeah, she's talking to alter ego.
Say what?
Oh, what? What are you talking about?
Just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here. I'm totally out of the loop. How unusual. How sad.
In other words...
Then you're the one who stole it.
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
After you used it to drag Fumi into your plan, you'd come up with... right again. Last night, after I had our meeting about how to disappear, I paid Fumi a little visit. Dang, his room is awesome.
Actually,
I was hoping I could talk to you alone. It is about what was stolen. You know who did it?
What?
Or I know who did it. What?
are you okay
It was
with
Taka.
this?
He stole it.
So
And I have
then,
proof. Would you like to see? Oh, so she took the camera as, like, proof. Okay. So basically, she... Okay.
Damnation!
It was him. How did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You are correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it. Oh.
Say what?
What?
as for me,
Please forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh.
He did?
as for
He
me,
came to my room last night and announced, and then it was hard for me to even say. He abused me.
What?
What? And he said if I didn't do as he asked, he would show it to everybody. Wow. Okay. Jeez. I mean, it's a lie, but that's a very absurd lie. Like, you wouldn't think Taka would do that, but I guess he caught up in the moment, so I had no choice.
Damnation!
That's a crime. That's absolute crime. I knew he had gone a little crazy, but
Say what?
I would never imagine he would go that far. Yeah, it was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how enjoyable that was. I was about to say something I never said before in my life. I'm going to kill him! I'm going to freaking kill him!
most
Wait,
unfortunate.
please. If you go now, you'll be playing right into his hands. Huh?
Actually,
Taka's planning to use her to escape. He was made you his target.
What?
Escape? What do you mean? Taka's going to try to kill you.
What?
indeed.
Yeah, and all of so he can keep her to himself. That bastard.
Honestly,
Can we allow him to continue with this barbaric acts? Absolutely not. How could I? She.
I swear, I will
I have to save her. Oh, he said it. Okay.
actually,
Then, would you like to join me? It just so happens that I come with a plan. Huh? I've devised a way to reclaim what he was stolen and escape this dreadful school. And with that, it is complete. What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Okay, so... Okay, he agreed without a second thought. The effect that the item had on him was remarkable. The power of love. Even love was twisted as that can drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me.
I see.
I have no other question for you. Was that strange costume Fumi's creation?
indeed.
Yeah, it was a real pain in the butt, too. All I asked was him to make something to hide the face of a general body size. Had no idea he'd actually make something like that. But it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
But...
So why did you decide to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid! It's true! You were stupid, Hero. I'm sorry. Weed man. You even believed it too whenever you woke up and we said he killed someone.
Huh?
That's it?
Let's see.
That's all I had to be done. For real. In that regard, I made the right choice. So I'm glad your stupidity surpasses my expectations. Life must have been tough for you. Your parents. Oh my jeez. Celeste, you can chill now. You're about to die. Stop roasting people. I feel like I could cry.
Well.
But when you were explaining your plan to Fumi, how did you explain the part of him playing dead? What she asked is, what was Fumi supposed to do after that, assuming you had actually let him live?
Are you okay
That's
with
simple.
this?
After he did his part and pretended to be dead when someone showed up, I told him to stay, that he'd been seriously wounded and he was on the verge of death, but he barely held on. And he really believed that? Well, of course, it wasn't all that wasn't all there was to it. As I explained to Hifumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning him, what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hifumi would have had an alibi, and nobody could have doubted him. I told him that. He believed it. Oh, it seems very straightforward. Stereotypical. I just matched the lie to a level of opponent. In fact, Hifumi ate it up. He believed in the lie wholeheartedly, right up to the point of his death.
So in the end...
She had a plan of killing him all along. But of course, there would have been no point in my plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself. That is true. It's a good point. How can a human life mean so little to you?
Well,
That's not an issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
Don't be mean!
Now you sound like Byakuya.
I wonder
No,
about
he
that.
thrives on pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In my aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then, what made you take these things this far?
What the heck?
Was it really just for the money? Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money. It's true. But that's not all there is to it. The moment our new lives began, the only thought had been escape. See, I knew she wasn't that type of person. She did do a good act, though, let me tell you. At first, I simply believed it. But the way that events rolled out throughout the chapters, she was basically living a life for herself and pretending to be a poker face this whole time in order for her to strike at the right moment. That's why she ended up doing relationships with Hifumi, because she knows he was a good target. And as soon as he fell in love with that AI and talking him at problems, perfect solution to escape.
But...
Got it. But all along you've been saying how we have to accept living here.
You little bitch!
That was obviously a lie.
Hey!
I couldn't take it. I hated it from the day one. More than anyone else here.
You little bitch!
Okay, chill, Celeste. I wanted to get out every day with a fresh torture. And do you want to know why, huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. Accepting a life here would have meant nothing, less than giving up on my own dream forever.
Honestly.
And there was no way I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make the metaphorical killing.
As for me,
And it was all for that dream. And that was a dream of yours?
isn't it
To
wonderful?
live in a European castle. A castle? Oh! Okay. I'm trying to take this all in. Hold on. Okay. Got it. Vampires. Altogether handsome men all over the world have come to serve as my butlers / bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every— Oh my Jesus. She's a freak! Once I attained that, I would have created a perfect aesthetic world of—
This is fine.
Sorry. Living the rest of my life there would— my only dream, my only goal. And that's what life is all about. Those red ruby slippers, you better be clicking them going home, because that's the only way she can. Combined with our own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that a dream reality. I got right on the edge, but
There is nothing to be
unfortunately,
done.
my dream has been shattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream till the very end, so why would I?
Just the worst.
You sound so passionate, but were you really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
Are you asking me if I feel guilty? That's pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for our own needs. I feel nothing.
do you understand?
That's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying. And plus, how can you be so calm? You realize you're about to die. Why are you scared? I applied to the lie of... I can't. I need to take a drink. My ability to lie is unraveled. And I take pride in that. That's not just for other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious, deceiving of unconscious. And that's why you're not scared.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
right. I do not fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I would like to come back as Marie Antoinette.
Hey,
Wasn't she executed? Yeah, you just get executed again. Wow. So I smiled then. And when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed she couldn't fool her own feelings, but that statement itself must have been her final lie. At that weak, fake smile is what portrayed her.
Thrills! Chills!
Oh,
kills!
finally! The execution! I mean, I'm really sad that she's my favorite character, but man, these executions are brutal and are very entertaining for me to watch. So, are you all done? Okay, let's get rolling. The black and disturbed piece must pay the price.
Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment.
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment for her, the ultimate gambler.
Let's give it everything we've got.
Let's go, Monokuma.
It's punishment time.
Let's do it.
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this.
Ooh, there's her voice again.
What?
This is...
Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way.
Her voice, I can't comprehend it. She's too timid for me right now. She's just totally as a person, like emotionless is what it sounds like. But she basically, I guess, gave her the key to the AI.
Which is why... Actually, it's not important.
What? Just tell me.
Well then, take care, everyone.
She's going out like a champ.
Perhaps we'll meet again. In another life.
I hope so, I guess. She comes back in the next Danganronpa. We'll about to see. My heart hurts, but excited at the same time. I have so mixed emotions. Like I want to cry, but I'm excited at the same time. Oh my gosh, my favorite character. Even though she's a liar. What is that? What the heck? Is she about to get burned on the stake like a witch? Oh no! No! This is so painful to die from. I mean, the first one with baseballs was probably really painful too. I guess all of them were pretty painful, huh? But slowly getting burned to death? I couldn't imagine how painful that is. Cute, like... Dude, that's hot. Like... Oh, what? What the fire truck has to do with anything? No! They didn't just have to burn her alive, they had to throw the whole freaking truck at her. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess that ends her suffering, right? Oh, jeez. Well, my favorite character died. Come on, Kyoko. You're my last favorite character. Please don't die in this game. It's over. The third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friend, so I can't pity her, but I can't deny that at one point I considered her a friend too. And for him, who just came along and... Isn't it just awful? Someone could have cut free of their regrets from the outside world. And so more people have to die.
Extreme!
You guys are still young. You need to place more value for your lives.
What are you gonna do?
Jeez. And here I thought you guys were gonna pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
Let me out of here!
Well, what do I care about hope? Throw it in the trash if you just let me out of here.
Too bad.
You're the embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not. And in my destiny to knock down one by one. It's sad, yes, it is. But in reality, it just can't be avoided. Don't talk like you're responsible. How long are you gonna make us keep going through this? What do you want from us?
How strange.
Gosh, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So anyways, Kyoko, did you get some kind of key type object from Celeste?
Hey! Hey!
So, what's the deal with that? Yeah, she ain't gonna tell you. We ain't gonna tell you crap, Monokuma. Huh, what's the matter?
So then,
I'll answer your question if you answer mine.
you...
What did you do? What did you do to me? What?
Ooh!
What?
Hey,
Answer me. What did you do to my body?
Ooh! How
man. Oh, jeez.
exciting!
What do you mean? What did I do? I have no idea. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. So, something's going on with her. And she's probably figuring it out. What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Kyoko's body? What does that mean?
Hello.
Okay, things are getting kind of awkward. I think it's about time we get out of here.
Well?
Meanwhile, you guys go on and enjoy your school life. If you get lonely, give me a shout. Not that I'll do anything, of course.
See ya later!
See ya, Monokuma. Monokuma disappeared, leaving us all depressed with despair. Although it wasn't all despair, there was one small hope. Hey, Kyoko, Monokuma has mentioned it, but what's that key Celeste gave you?
so...
Most likely, it's the key to one of the dressing room lockers. Huh? What does that mean? Celeste probably hid it there.
Hey,
I suppose sometimes it's easy to miss what's right beneath our nose. Well, we better go check it out.
Indeed.
Good idea. So she basically didn't. She did steal it, but she didn't take it anywhere. Which is smart, because if she would have taken it out of the dressing room, Monokuma obviously would have seen it. So, okay. I know everyone knows what's in there. We're gonna just talk about AI and find out what it sees. But I'm gonna end this trial and episode here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Another one of my characters has gone. We are slowly going down student to student. I don't know how much more killings are going to be. So leave a like on this video. Lets me know I'm doing a good job. Lets YouTube know that y'all enjoy my content. Subscribe to join the Wolfpack. And Wolfpack's growing every single day. And without further ado, I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.